Hi, in this video I will explain the basic search strategies you can use to find resources for your assignment in the university's electronic databases. Once students get their assignment topic, many start reading extensively on the subject straight away. However, this can be problematic as you may get too many results in your search for information, or none at all. If you type your assignment keywords into Google, for example, you will get millions of results, definitely too many to read. Now, you can get better results by using special search functions and databases that are specialized for education. The most commonly used databases in education are ERIC, A+, and Scopus. You can access these databases from the Database Library Guide from the links shown on the screen. For the best results, take time to prepare a search strategy. Here is an example. Let's consider the following assignment topic: the effect of incorporating experiential learning on student achievement in undergraduate degrees. In this topic, there are several keywords or terms. In particular, let's focus on the following three phrases: experiential learning, student achievement, and undergraduate degrees. Firstly, you should definitely use quotation marks to indicate when several words are part of a single term. For example, experiential learning. You are not looking for results that are just based on experience or just based on learning. You want results that incorporate both these terms together. Secondly, you can use operators such as and or to help narrow your search. For example, if you were to type into the database search experiential learning and student achievement, you would only receive results that contained both the phrase experiential learning and the phrase student achievement. Secondly, it is important to consider ways in which words can be truncated or expanded. Take, for example, the word learning. If you just search for learning in the database, you may miss studies that include terms such as learns or learned. To make sure you also include these studies, you can use a truncated version of the word. In this case, the word learn with an asterisk after it. In this example, the asterisk is used to indicate you want all the words that start with learn but may have different endings, such as learns, learned, learning, or learner. This trick can help you find studies that have used different forms of words. Thirdly, you should also consider synonyms of words. For example, if you search for student but the authors of the article used learner, you may miss the article in your results. So when searching for student, you should actually search for student or learner to make sure you get all the relevant results in your research. Finally, you should also consider different spelling of words. The most common differences in spelling to look out for is the different spelling for words in British and American English. For example, the difference between behavior and behavior in these two types of English. After you have found your sources, you need to read them effectively and take good quality notes. This can be very time-consuming as the sources that you need to read are often written in complex language using many specialized terms. Remember to read with a purpose. Know what it is you want to get out of the article you are reading. It is also important to know that you do not always need to read an entire source. For example, you may only need to find a definition for a specialized term. Let's say that you want to find the definition of the zone of proximal development for your assignment. In this case, you do not need to read the entire book that Vygotsky wrote. Instead, you will scan the table of contents or the glossary until you find the section entitled Zone of Proximal Development, and you would only read that section in detail. In academic writing, there are therefore several types of reading, including previewing, skimming, scanning, and critical or close reading. When you simply need a general overview of a source, you can simply preview the text to see if it's relevant to your topic. If you want to gain information about the main themes of the source, you can skim read the text. If you only want a specific piece of information, you can scan the text until you see the term that you are looking for, and then only read that section in detail. If you need detailed information about a concept, however, you will need to read more critically and in more detail. Always decide what you need to know and make sure to use the appropriate reading strategy. This will ensure that you spend your time more effectively.